All right, everybody, welcome to Vinyl Resting Place. Thank you, Wonkno, for the raid. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, Wonkno listeners. Thank you, Las Vegas. Tonight, we have Barry Harris of Concan as our guest. Welcome, Barry.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for connecting. First time on the show. Really appreciate your time being
Mm-hmm.
here tonight with all of us.
Yeah,
We're all
sure.
big fans. We just heard Book of Love, I Touch Roses. And the reason I played it is this is their 40th anniversary record pressing, and they're on tour this fall. And they're going to be going to major cities and touring with all four original band members. That's really cool. Have you ever seen them live, Barry?
Totally. No, I've not, but I have totally seen their postings and stuff about that, and I've just instantly thought like, oh, you got, that's one of the new albums.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I Touch Roses is absolutely my favorite, Book of Love song
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
it's it's probably the first song I ever heard by them, and then boy,
I don't know a lot
I'm
about them.
I'm trying to think. Was there a Thunderpuss mix of Boy? I'm trying to think who did it, or maybe it was Paul
No,
Rue
Peter,
Hoffler.
Star 69. It was Peter. Peter did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Peter. Paul. I
Peter
said Paul.
Rauhofer.
Peter. Yeah, and that must have been a couple years way back.
Oh yeah, around the 2000s, and so
So before we
2001.
get into your first song, so give us a quick snapshot of your history. We're going to play "I Beg Your Pardon" in a bit, but what was your start? With Concan, or before that, what started all that? And or do you want to save that? We'll save that for when we play it. Do you think? Yeah.
Um, uh, uh, I'm not. Uh, I don't know. I'm
Well,
not
how about this?
sure if that's.
Let's talk about Concan when we get to it in a few songs. Um, how did you get involved in music? Did you start as a DJ, or did you do music production first?
Okay. Well, it goes back. Well, then okay. It goes back to just being like many of us, and I'm sure like you as well, just musically inclined as a kid, and learning piano uh, and then learning guitar at 11, and then wanting to be in a band in when you're 15 and 16 and stuff, but never really getting outside of the garage
Yeah.
level or your parents' basement level, and then you just kind of put it on the back burner. But you keep music still keeps calling you, whether you know it or like it or not. And so around 83 is when I quit my day job, 83, 84, and said to myself that I want to. Well, actually, I started DJing in '83, so getting music in that way in the import record store. Later, I would work there part time, and because my main mission at that point was, I really wanted to actually more be a remixer slash DJ is what it was. My aspirations was more so. So also working at that import record store really got my musical fix in, because in those days, of course, you had. Being here in Canada, Canada was always American influenced and British and UK influence. We got the imports from the UK and from the Europe as well, and it's such a melting pot up here. You have all these different subgroups that were into freestyle and like the you know what I mean? All
Yeah.
the different kinds of styles of music, and you're selling all that, and you're just a sponge absorbing all this
Hmm.
stuff and the cultures, and then the New York house stuff and the Chicago house stuff's coming in, and I'm influenced by everything, and that's more the precursor. Is that answering more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
your
that's
question? I
interesting,
guess.
and it was the same journey for me, just having a love for music, buying a lot of it, listening to it, and I really got into not the songwriting for lyrical content, but the music, and clearly behind me, synthesizers. So I got into
Hmm.
the music side,
Yeah.
and I was inspired by those electronic acts. I got into it with
Yes.
Depeche Mode and Erasure, and then went back and discovered Sparks in Kraftwerk.
Oh, oh, I already told you about Sparks. I love Sparks
Yeah,
from the '70s, even.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so
Oh, yes, and of course Kraftwerk. Yes.
yeah, and then it melds into getting a synthesizer and not knowing how to play it. I had piano lessons as a kid, and eventually you get to a spot where you have a sequencer and you're putting little riffs together and then whole songs
Yes,
and the early stuff's
remember.
not very good.
Well, no, I remember. Do you know what my first synthesizer was?
What was?
The worst one. What was the worst synthesizer a beginner could buy in
Casio.
1980? No, in 1985 or 86
Okay, what was worse than a
for a
Casio?
beginner, and everyone complained about it apparently at the time
Okay, what
because it
was yours?
very Yamaha DX7.
Oh, well, that's a real synthesizer. I mean, a lot of people that couldn't
Okay.
afford that would buy a Casio, like one of the plasticky Casios.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, and that was in the studio actually, and we probably used it in the Concan stuff at Tom's studio, but trying to figure out and program it and change since like it was just
Oh,
so
yeah.
not user friendly. And little did I know, I didn't know. I just said, I've got money, I'm going to buy the latest and the greatest synthesizer. What should I get? So they
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
me that. And it was pretty impossible. But yes, in those days, and you probably, like you were saying, by the time 86, 87 came around, you could sync up everything with MIDI, and it was exciting and drum machines too, right? Because I was toying with drum machines. I was doing a little bit of almost kind of house music with another DJ, not really knowing what we were actually doing, by playing the drum machines live in the club.
Uh-oh. Coming back here. Give it a second. There we go. Keep talking.
But it was so exciting, as you must know, when suddenly like you saw a studio like yours now that is all synced up, and it's like, oh my God, I'm a kid in the candy store. I can do everything here, from drums and bass and guitar and whatever I want now, and sync it all up and make my own song. And that was basically the genesis or the beginning of I Beg Your Pardon, because I really wanted to make my record. I tried to start in 87. It didn't really work with the guy people that I had met or any other DJs. I couldn't get anyone that would actually follow through. So I finally had this, okay, I met this guy in 87, but then it was later the following spring, he moved into his parents' basement, and he had a studio, and I reached out to him. I said, okay, I am going to make a record. I have an idea of what I have in mind, and I'm going to do it. And I was driving from Toronto for an hour bus ride to get to Hamilton every weekend and stay at his place on the cot in the basement, that was where it all began.
Okay.
Making my own record.
Well, let's put a pin in that. Let's play your first song. You pick New Order, and then when we come back, we'll play something from Concan. Maybe we'll start with. Well, I have an idea, but let's introduce your first song, which is New Order, and it's off the Brotherhood album, and you picked Bizarre Love Triangle. Okay. And you specifically wanted the remix, which is great, because
Yes.
as a DJ, this is the one we played.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I think of you, I feel a shot right through with a bolt of blue. It's no problem of mine, but it's a problem I find. Living a life that I can't leave behind. There's
All right, here we go. That is New Order, Bizarre Love Triangle, and that is the original 12-inch. And as a DJ, that's the one we played because it has such a great intro and outro to mix with. And I think non-DJs don't always understand that, why we need that.
Yep, I'm sure.
But you DJ probably with a controller now, right? Or media players?
Well, record box,
Yeah.
DJ wise.
Yeah,
yes.
and these days with looping and stems, and all that, we don't necessarily need all those intros. We can make anything we want.
This is true. It's so easy now. Not to mention everything's so sequenced. Well, it was in the '80s actually, but with drum machines by then. It stuns me how the disco DJs did it with live drums and mixing in and out smoothly. After our generation being more doing it in the '80s when it was so much. It was easy then, but with record box, it's even easier. So it's like piece of cake nowadays.
Yeah, I use Serato, and I'm just so used to it. But the software locks you into certain hardware. But when you're DJing on a bigger platform, everybody's got the Pioneer or the Alpha Theta players now, and so
Right.
it's Record
Right.
Box or Serato. Right? I mean, it works for both. So it's a modern world we're living in. It's amazing how we had to do it back then and lug crates of records around.
Yeah, right. I know. It feels weird to even.
Show up with a USB stick and a pair of headphones.
I know.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about DJing in a bit. I want to get into our next song before we get into Concan, and Human League, Sound of the Crowd. Now, this is a favorite for both of us, so I'll let you talk about why you love this song. And I just saw them in Vegas, and
Oh yeah.
and Philip, he still sounds great.
Yes, yeah, I've been following that. I've been following them now and then as well on that. Yeah. But so you want to know what? I'll tell you why I picked those songs.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Now?
especially this one.
Well, especially Sound of the Crowd. Well, it's more. Well, when I got thinking about it, about all the stuff, I've been very, but believe it or not, I picked Sound of the Crowd because I didn't want to pick Don't You Want Me, but so the reason I picked Sound of the Crowd because, for example, like the 12-inch of Bizarre Love Triangle is important because of the Shep Pettibone mix. For me, I'm very aware and conscious of producers, more so than artists themselves, actually, in a lot of ways. It depends, and it depends on the era and what I was into at the time. At the time, I was more enthralled with producers. And so as very much, of course, as you know, everyone, Shep Pettibone was on fire and doing everybody and everything.
Everybody, Depeche Mode.
And what I've always loved about Bizarre Love Triangle, much like I Beg Your Pardon, it kind of taught me in the 80s, because we were so used to the 80s, it was all about being alternative, dark, and cool, and Ministry, everybody's Halloween and stuff, and Cabaret Voltaire, and all that whole image. And what was refreshing about Bizarre Love Triangle was just so happy. It was depressing lyrics or depressing delivery on top of really happy music. And I thought that was really unique and different. And I've always liked, well, I've liked both. I like the dark stuff, but I've also liked the feel good music too. And this is why I wanted, like I Beg Your Pardon, to be very feel good as well. With kind of, once again, kind of dark or negative type lyrics. As for Human League, I picked Human League because then I thought about it, and I'd also put like Pete Shelley on there as well, because at that time, that when I was keeping my own, like, what I would look at when I look credits on the record, I'd be more like, who was the producer, who were the people that were involved, who were the studio musicians, and look for all these common denominators. And I remember, I don't know if you did the first time you heard the dub of Human League, Don't You Want Me, doom doom doo ba doo boo,
Yeah.
did it. I was like, whoa, what was that? So then I started getting into more like, then I discovered the Homo Sapien, the Altered Images, where he did that stutter type, edit type thing. And then I would buy everything that Martin Rushent had anything to do with after that. So not only was, yes, Human League, also another big important thing about people like Human League, everything that they've done, but Phil, he's got such a gift for hooks and melodies. Like, I mean, if you can just go dun 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 dun, dun like walking down the street with it, then that's part of part of the game done, and all those songs, especially on Dare, there were so many hooky, catchy songs on there that were new and fresh and alternative, and add Martin Rush into it, the brilliance of him into it, and the whole Dare LP. I just didn't want it. I wanted to pick something else that I liked, like that or Hard Times, or that Sound of the Crowd, Hard Times, and most of the album, I think I really like.
A lot of people pick Seconds off that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not. I forget. I know. I'll remember it when I hear it.
Yeah.
Da, da,
About the
Oh,
JFK.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
I've had a lot of guests over the last 6.5 years pick that song. It's interesting, to hear, to sort of see that trend when people pick something from Heaven 17 or what are we playing? Human League. Yeah, it's interesting. Bizarre Love Triangle. I'm just trying to remember. I think in 6 years, maybe played it only 2 other times.
oh, okay. Oh, well then maybe I just like Too Many Happy Things, because I like Open Your Heart too. That's the one that I like. Seconds might be one of my more least favorite songs from Human League.
Okay. Well,
Well-
you know what you said that kind of sparked something in me is that, you talked about melody and hooks and stuff. And I think that's why I like synth pop over goth, because it has a melody that you can remember, songs that you know the lyrics to, you can sing it, you can hum it. And I always thought of a chorus as the meaty center of a song. And-
Yes.
and
Yeah.
when-
Oh yeah.
And when I've written music, I generally start with a chorus. Write the hook.
Right. Yes.
A lead synth melody or
Yes.
just the hook, the chorus. And then I was like, oh, now what? I have to make a verse before it.
How do I get to that chorus?
Yeah, well, same
Right.
root note and then
Yes.
just something a little different. You learn along the way, but
Yes.
And then
you
go on.
go.
No,
Well, then, no, I was saying, going back about the goth stuff, but you're saying that the synth pop is about that. The goth stuff was about the attitude and the vibe, I think.
yeah, and
More so.
what you're wearing, a little bit more of a
Yes.
scene.
Yes, but an attitude and vibe
Yeah.
in general.
Like there's a big joke about doing the goth dance. It's like catch the bat, hold the bat, let go of the bat.
Yeah, like it's all about the right.
Yeah.
it's all about
And-
the scene and the vibe. It's what it's all about, more so than the music.
The slow
As long
motion dance. We call it the bat dance here in Denver. And then
Okay.
you drop the bat, you pick up the bat, and then my favorite, which you can't see from that far away, is you kick the bat. Because there's this goth kick thing that goes on. Well, let's get to the
Well-
song. And I did pull the 12-inch of this, and it's really long. And there's an instrumental on the other side, but I'm going to play the one with the vocals. And produced by Martin Rushent,
Well, there you go. Yay.
because you mentioned producers.
Mm-hmm.
And here is that 12-inch. that is the Human League. And Barry, you know what's interesting, and you know the story about the band. You know, Martin Ware formed the band before Philip Oakey joined, and then
I did not know that.
okay, well he left to do Human League, leaving. Heaven 17. He left to form Heaven 17, and Philip Oakey. I always want to say Oakley, like the sunglasses.
Me too.
But Philip Oakey was left holding the bag, and I don't think anybody ever thought they would be successful once Martin left. And sure enough, they went on to record, you know, the band's really biggest, most known hits.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
And, you know, the band started in 1977. And I always think it's interesting because, you know, we refer to them as an 80s band, right?
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Because they had their heyday in the 80s, like OMD and a lot of bands that started in the 70s. Like Simple Minds was
Right.
also 70s.
Hmm.
But got their traction in the 80s. It's interesting. Yeah. Oh, and you know, we could talk all day about DX7s. I used to have one. I traded it for the ARP Odyssey, an even older synth.
I don't think I used it on anything ever.
It's got famous stuff. I mean, it was all over the 80s, Madonna, and
I know.
if you could throw a stone and you would hit a DX7 and a hit
Yeah.
song.
I know. I know that now, but
Yeah.
oh, maybe we did use some of it, but not when I was not with mine that I was trying to program in '85.
Well, maybe you should just buy one for nostalgia's sake and put it on the wall.
Yeah, to remind me of all the trauma that it put me through.
Yeah, or buy a broken one for $100, and then
Yeah.
you could gut it and turn it into a lamp. I did that with a synth once. It's sitting over there, and I need to hang it up on the wall. Since you mentioned Pete Shelley earlier, I just thought we would play a Pete Shelley song. Homo sapien is what you talked about, and anything else you want to add more about that since you've already mentioned it?
No, I don't really have much to say. I mean, I loved Homo sapien just like everybody else did, you know, just in the early days of the whole new wave stuff and the stuff coming out of the UK and all the alternative stuff at the time. You know, just like I was, once again, it was more brought it up because I like the vibe and this, I still love the song and the attitude of that. And of course, what that Martin Rushent was involved is that and that as well. You know, means a lot to me. Makes me like it even more.
Yeah, and you know, so many influential acts came from the UK, and a lot from Canada too, of course. I think we talked last time over the phone about Men Without Hats, being a Canadian band, and he's touring really strong right now. He's all over the place.
Oh yeah, he's working it. He's working.
Yeah, and I've seen him twice. We got to open for him last year when he was coming through Colorado. And I got to tell you, his performance is very solid. He moves around like he's 20, and his voice, however he's doing it, is 100% solid in his performance. So
Yeah,
hats off
no.
to Ivan.
Yeah, never met him, but well, he's in Montreal, so it's pretty far away.
Yeah, it's not like you can just go down the street for a cup of sugar.
No, we've never crossed paths yet.
Day's not over.
Yeah, never say never.
Another interesting thing about Pete Shelley, I mean, Homo sapien is probably his biggest known 80s hit, but he's also the front man of the band The Buzzcocks.
Yeah.
And so
I knew of that.
yeah, and you know, they had a lot of alternative stuff. And I have some Buzzcocks 7 inches around. I think thinking about it now because it just came up, it'd probably be too soon to dig through and find them. But let's just play Homo sapien. Here we go.
Sure.
I'm the shy boy, you're the coy boy, and you know I'm Homo sapien too. I'm the cruiser, you're the loser, me and you are Homo sapien too. Homo superior in my interior, but from the skin
There it is, Pete Shelley, Homo Sapien. I think that song probably made it into movies and compilations.
Didn't he recently pass? Did I?
I would have to look that up. I'm unaware of that. We can Google it.
Unless I'm wrong. For some reason, I just thought of that now.
Let's look it up. Pete Shelley with an EY died. Let's see what it says. Pete Shelley, co-founder, lead singer, Buzzcocks, died 2018.
Oh my gosh, that's not recently. That was like this year.
At our age, that's pretty recent.
I know. Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick a song, fewer than your songs, but one of my big influences from around that same year, because isn't I Beg Your Pardon 85, 86?
Sorry, I made it 88. It
88,
blew
yeah.
up by fall of 88 and definitely 89.
All right, so what I think I'm going to do is play this song by Anything Box. And, they had a big hit like you did. Their big song was Living in Oblivion.
Yeah.
And that's Claude Strillo. He goes by Claudio now, but it's Claude Strillo. And they got their start in New Jersey in 86. And he lives in, I think, L.A., San Diego now, somewhere down there. And he streams every Friday night and kind of does a talk show on Twitch and Facebook. And
Okay.
he plays old rarities, sings, and has discussions about Bitcoin and different things. It's really interesting. If anybody wants to tune in, he does that every Friday night, I think at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And just look for Anything Box on Facebook. So this song is called Our Dreams, and it is from the Peace album. And of course, this is the re-release on vinyl, on clear vinyl, which is cool to have. He's been a guest on the show, and always interesting. And then I think this will lead in, since this is 86, we'll do Concan next, and we'll talk about that. Because I think it's a great lead into 88. Here is Our Dreams.
confusion to reality, to the jealousy, to the governments of the world. Do you know that's all we wanted was to have a dream? Do you know that's all we wanted was to have a dream? That's all we wanted was to have a dream. That's all we wanted was to have a
And then I think we'll do Always on My Mind after I Beg Your Pardon. So if you want to mention that as being an influence, as it says in your bio. I think it's a good influence. Pet Shop Boys and Can. So that is Anything Box, one of my big influences. I put Pet Shop Boys, Depeche Mode, Erasure as like the big band's New Order as my mainstream influences of this room full of synthesizers. And then
Okay.
the minor ones would be hits like yours because I grew up DJing those songs and played them every week. And including with that Anything Box and Book of Love.
Right.
Something about the music production of Anything Box and Book of Love, it's because they have little bell sounds and really great melodies and synth hooks. And so that leads us to your song, I Beg Your Pardon. And
Right.
this is the 12-inch I bought originally from the store. It was like $5. 1988 Atlantic Records. So this is the American version, of course, right?
Atlantic. Right.
And
Okay.
I wore the shit out of this thing. I never played the house mix. I just played the regular club mix. And let me tell you, it packed floors. So
Yeah.
I read online that you took inspiration from Pet Shop Boys, which we'll play next after your song. And what's the story with the whole rose garden?
Well, was DJing from 83 to like 80, 87. And I just felt, at least in Toronto, I had done as far as I could go DJing wise. And I really wanted to make my own record. I met these guys in 87 that had a studio, and that didn't really work out. I just kind of fell apart again, like it always had over the years. And so I went to Portugal to learn Portuguese, and I thought I had crazy ideas that I'm going to DJ along the Mediterranean. And I had a cousin that lived out there, so I stayed with him. It was out in the suburbs of Portugal, and I was going to language school to learn Portuguese. So, and also at the time I had roommates that were Portuguese as well. So something was saying you need to go to Portugal, drawing me to Portugal for some reason. So I did, and I was there for 2 months learning Portuguese. And I remember being on the bus, and there's one of these, when they set up little fairs in the parking lots of shopping malls and stuff.
With the
And you
Ferris
see
wheel.
Yes, and you see the turning around, the things that are going around. And I remember hearing Always on My Mind. I think that's the first time I heard the Pet Shop Boys, You Were Always on My Mind. And I only knew the Willie Nelson version. And I thought, wow, look at that, a dancey version of Always on My Mind of a country song. How unusual, how unique. And then over the next upcoming weeks in Portugal is when I said, well, what's another like cool country song to do? And then I thought, well, that Rose Garden song. So I had this Smile for a While idea, and I also had in my head that diddle 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 diddle. I'd be walking from back home with that in mind, and that's really where it sparked from. That's all I really had was the idea of diddle 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 and Smile
And Lynn
for a While, Let's Be
Anderson's
Jolly.
song Rose Garden.
Yeah, Yeah. So when I came back to a girlfriend of mine said you should really come back. I mean, Tommy's got a studio set up in Hamilton and blah blah blah. And I said, okay, I'll come back. I'm really going to come back, but this time I am going to make a record, do or die. So I got a job at the record store again, the same record store that I've been in and out and off and on. And they were doing an independent label stuff. And I said, I have an idea. Would you guys be willing to support it if I were to do it? He said, well, tell us what you got. So I'd go to the studio and stuff, and I had a demo. And I said to Tom I was basically, give me the biggest beats you've got, the biggest drums, the big boom, ka, because it was the 80s. And he'd start with that. And then I said, well, I've got a diddle, diddle, diddle. So we'd scroll through. So what sounds have you got? Scroll through your sounds and stuff. And I settled on diddle, diddle, diddle. Oh, that sounds kind of good against those drums, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, I think at that point, well, Smile, if it's going to go into Smile for a while, that's going to dictate what the key's going to be now. I can't choose the key. The song, the Rose Garden's going to choose the key. And then we had to manipulate that. And it was, well, in those days, you didn't get a lot of sampling time anywhere. And there were some keyboards that he had that we could get like a few seconds or maybe 5 seconds. And even if you could get the whole sample, it was dun, 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 dun. It was like that BPM, and it was live in 71, so the BPM was all over the place. So it was like, first of all, he couldn't fit the whole sample in one thing, so he had to chop it up. And I think probably it must have been, but does it sound like it was pitched down though, even? So now that I don't think it was pitched down, but I think it was faster. But I think that's why I had to split it up and Smile for a while and let's be. And I'm not too sure exactly how we did it, but I know when I did the stutter, la 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 love, I was trying to fill in the fact that the drums really sped up in the sample before it. Mm-hmm. So little did I know, and because that's the only way I could share the good times, because it was about to go out of BPM, then I had to go, wow, we can. So I was kind of masking its imperfection, but little did I know I was creating a separate hook that everyone just seemed to gravitate, or an ear-bending, I call internal eyebrow-raising moment, where it was like, what, that? You know, I didn't realize it. I was just trying to do a workaround, and the sample is so lo-fi too, as well.
Yeah, was it even 16-bit back then?
I was going to say,
it might have been 8-bit.
For sure. Well, it might have. He might have had to go to 8-bit because he ran out of sample memory at 16. It might, because it sounds really crappy. But so what? Who cares? That's sometimes part of the charm, And there's another little note on that one too. I was thinking earlier too. One thing that you'd probably appreciate. That song has 2 bass lines. It is crazy. Every time I hear that, I think, what was I thinking? Because I couldn't decide on whatever the rhythm I had in mind, but I also had 2 different rhythms in mind. I couldn't decide which one to use, so I used both in 2 different sounds, and that's crazy, but it worked. And what does it matter now? So there's all these little quirky things. I didn't know what I was doing while I was making it. I was just creating it and making it as we went.
Would you say it was a happy mistake? Or it was a planned mistake, but a happy ending.
What? Oh, what?
With the 2 bass lines, and you say you didn't know what you were doing, but sometimes that being naive, I always thought that I did more with less equipment and when I knew less.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's absolutely because when you're doing stuff, that's how the world, I think, creatively moves forward, because a lot of people in their 20s, they're wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and they just want to do something that hasn't been done before, and they're moving things forward. By the time you get older, you get a little nervous and scared. Well, I shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that. In your 20s, you're like, I'm going to do this. Who cares? I don't give a shit. And you just do all these crazy things, and you're breaking ground, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Exactly. And, the far as use of the sampling of Rose Garden in that song, in the way you trigger with a kind of stutter. I mean, people do that now, but they've moved on to new production tricks. And I think
Yeah.
that what you did back then in the late 80s was born out of that was the technology that was available to you.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
therefore you used it. And sampling was so new and
Yeah.
somewhat affordable to the world
Mm-hmm.
that everybody was just loading in, old songs, movie clips, and sound effects and turning them into songs.
It was pioneering, groundbreaking, new world of right. It was cool to be samples, using samples. You didn't want to re-sing.
Yeah, and nobody sued us back then.
Well, it's
The same way.
No one knew what to do. Everyone was kind of like, even the record company. I've spent the entire summer. I've said this in other things before. I got a hold of the publisher, no problem, as far as getting, being able to use it and stuff. But as far as the Sony, and because they weren't going to listen to some big little guy in Canada that's done an independent record out of the big Sony Music Tower in New York, I couldn't get the response from them. I told, this is what I've done. I've sampled your record. I want to clear it. I want to do what is right. They wouldn't even respond to me. I called and called and called and called. I was torturing them with basically, call me back. If not, then I'll give you a call back tomorrow. And they just didn't respond until, of course, it blew up. And then Atlantic Records worked it out with them.
They did the clearance for you.
Yes, at that point, once it blew up. So it was almost like what is it? The ask forgiveness, beg forgiveness.
Yeah, and ask for forgiveness later.
But I was asking forgiveness way ahead, and they knew it. So I mean, they were pretty good about it because they knew damn well that I'd been trying all along. Eventually, but they just didn't be bothered until there was money to be made. Suddenly, it's like, oh, I think. But anyway,
Question
it's all good.
before we play it. I only have it on Atlantic, and the one I'm holding up, and then that other Atlantic generic one without a picture sleeve. This came out on a Canadian label before all that, right?
Yes. Yeah, out of the record store. That was like I was saying, the story. The guys that owned Star Sound, we put it out on that label, what they just called Revolving Records. They only put 2 or 3 records out, which was, one of them was mine, maybe 2. Maybe I was the second record.
And how many
I remember.
copies did they press until Atlantic and everybody got interested?
I'm not too I really
Couple
am not
hundred,
too sure.
1,000 maybe?
Oh, 1,000 for sure.
Okay.
I would think. Yeah, because they were doing and distributing it, and they got it into their distributor. Well, they didn't really have a distributor. They were a record company, so they were working with distributors as a client of selling their record, right, for the record store. So they were doing it the reverse. Now we're selling you records to get back out to all the other people out there in the States. So that's how it got out and around. Another fun little story I like to tell is at the time also, I was really pushing it. I worked so hard to try not only to make the record for months, but then I was like, this isn't going to fail. And I found I had a connection to get to. I think it was a record pool in the UK. Because I always thought it was very UK and Europe oriented, more so than American. I never thought it would break out of America. That never crossed my mind. I always thought Europe. And I said it to this guy, and it took a couple of weeks to get a response. And he came back finally after, of course, me pestering him. So what do you think? What do you think? Well, it's very American. I guess I don't see how we could do anything with it. Okay, we'll flash back to less than a year later. It literally went top 5. I just discovered this recently, actually, because of the internet. I never really looked that closely. It was top 10 in the UK for 5 weeks. It went from something like 8 to 6 to 5 2 weeks, and then back to 8 again. It's like it became bigger in the UK than it did in America. So there, take that, Mr. Record.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Record guy.
And so Atlantic got wind of it because of the smaller pressing from Canada getting club play
Yes.
and probably on the radio. And
Well, Mark Nathan was the big ringleader that I had met at the time. I was I know him now, knowing he would come up to Canada. He was a record promoter for radio with Atlantic Records, and he goes back to Bearsville in the 70s and the 80s, and he was more a record promoter for radio, for working for Atlantic at the time. And I've heard a few different stories of how it ended up in the States. But I think he came up to Canada because I think that was kind of his little secret weapon of coming up to Canada looking for like what's new in Canadian artists, because he was big on Canadian artists. In fact, he's one of the early people to find Bare Naked Ladies, and he really tried to get them signed to Sire at the time. I'm not too sure if they're on Sire now or what the story is, but he couldn't convince them of doing that. But he did. I did meet him, and he went to the record store that day, and he heard. I met him in the club that night, because he went to the DJ and said, well, actually, maybe that's where he first heard it. He went to the DJ and said, what is this record? And he said, oh, it's by Concan. The guy that made it's here. And he was like, oh, introduce me. So I went to say hi to my DJ friend, and Mark was there. And he said, I love your record. I want to take a whole bunch of copies back to New York. He said, I don't want to sound like a cigar-smoking record exec, but if I hope to convince everybody else in Atlantic that I think this is a hit record, feels the same way about me as I do. And I was like, oh my God, walking home that night, like I was freaked out that it just kind of been discovered that I even had that. So I think what happened is that he gave it to some of his radio stations and said, hey, what do you think of this? Check it out. Well, I know that Houston, KRB, and also WDRD out of New York, they started playing it, throwing it out there, and their phones lit up so well. It was blowing up by itself at that point.
That's great.
And then we were running after it, basically.
Houston is a huge market for that genre.
Well, it is, or what was?
It is.
Especially
It still is. And
oh yeah,
a lot of songs like I Beg Your Pardon still are played weekly at Numbers nightclub in Houston and places in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. But I think Houston Numbers nightclub is like the epicenter of a new wave.
I think you may be right.
And it's still there. Well, we're going to play it. And I think it was a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that I played I Beg Your Pardon randomly before I knew you'd be on the show tonight. Because we just got this set up. And so rather than playing the original club mix that I held up, we're going to play a newer video of a more recent performance. What can you tell us about it?
Well, 2023, it was basically, I wanted to refresh it. I wanted to update it. I'll tell you the story of it, actually, yeah. I haven't told the story before, so I have to think about it. There was a friend of mine a few years ago that said, hey, I found a band that's doing that. Did I Beg Your? They're a cover 80s band, and they do a really good version of I Beg Your Pardon. And I'm like, really? Because anybody that I've ever seen, because I know it's very hard as a band. I have tried and done a few times over the years with a band and getting a band to interpret that as a live song. And I've never been happy and been able to figure out how to actually turn that into a band song outside of it being a drum machine
And a backing track. Yeah.
Right? It never sounded good to me as a live band. I've always felt the magic was what it was. And I thought, oh my God, these guys pulled it off. Holy shit, it can be done. So I contacted them, and Christian immediately thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble. And I said, no. And it turned out they're not that far from me. They're a couple of hours from where I live here in Canada and in Ontario. So we got together, and I said, I really like what you do. You pull it off, and let's do this and take this to the nether level. And so we recorded. He all hooked it up as far as getting the stage and to record it and stuff. And of course, I'd been working with Kimberly Wetmore over the years and stuff. So we pulled it all together, and I thought, well, here we go. This is a band that, the group of people that we all get together and we like each other and get along, and you guys have pulled it off, and I like this whole vibe of everything, and that's how it kind of all came together.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to let that play. Then we're going to get into Pet Shop Boys, which helped inspire the song. And then I think we should play some more Concan and kind of do it in a block. And then we can get back to the list that we have.
Okay.
Kind of like informal. So here is the video.
all I ask of you. Your lifestyle can change, don't be afraid what you think's in store. I know what's on your mind, you've got lots to lose. Your shallow acquaintance is what's there to choose. You won't get too deep even though I'm worth so much more. So think about it carefully.
Smile for a while and let's be jolly. Life shouldn't be so melancholy. But come along and share the good time while you can.
Do you want to hustle? Do you want to fight? Do you want to hustle? Do you want to fight?
If that's how you want it, that's how it'll be. There's no use in trying, no making you see that love don't come easy, you don't know what it's about. To get things together won't take any pain. Don't need to see or hear from you never again. From this day on, lesson learned, no more games, count me out. And you know what I talk about.
Smile for a while and let's be jolly. Life shouldn't be so melancholy. Come along and share the good time while we can.
I know now's the time that I went to find something new. You know it's your crime that I'm out to find someone too.
And there it is. I had never seen that until today, so thanks for sharing.
Oh.
And I forgot about the orchestra hits throughout the whole song. There was such a big sample that a lot of people used back then.
What do you mean?
Just the orchestra hits, the bum 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 bum, and you know who else used it? Pet Shop Boys, all over the place.
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, yeah. It's funny that whole bump was a total afterthought at the end. I never heard that until we were finishing up, and then I added that after. That's actually one of the last things I added. I thought, oh, what if I did this?
It works. Great song.
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you said earlier that the Pet Shop Boys, you were in the carnival and heard "Always on My Mind," and it kind of inspired you to, make a dance song. And it's interesting because the original "Always on My Mind" was not Pet Shop Boys, and it wasn't even Elvis Presley. Right? It was a country and western song by Brenda Lee in 1972, and it never really became a huge song until Elvis covered it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just looked it up. I did not know that until today. I'm not
did
that
not either.
knowledgeable. But Elvis popularized it, and then of course Pet Shop Boys synthesized it, we'll call it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so this is the 12-inch, and I'm going to play not all of it, but the 12-inch, because as a working DJ, these were my records that I played in the 80s. And so those are the ones I know. I have it on the album, whatever it came on, but I like the 12-inch versions. And since
Yeah.
you mentioned producers, I'm reading the label. It says, remixed by Julian Mendelson, and there's a credit for who played the Fairlight, Andy Richards. And it's interesting that because the Fairlight was a sampling synth way back then, and it was so new that they gave people credit for using it. And
Oh,
yeah, nobody would think of that today. It's like Randall plays the Juno 106. Nobody cares.
Well, the Fairlight and the Synclavier thing, weren't they like 150 grand?
Yeah, people had them. Stevie Wonder and those influential people had the money for it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think there must have been a bunch of trust funders that fueled the 80s.
Rich people.
Yeah, because
rich
I mean,
artists.
how does somebody in their 20s or early 30s afford a $150,000 sampler?
You don't.
You don't. It's bank of mom and dad or something. But nobody talks about that. But where did they get the money? Pet Shop Boys. Mm-hmm.
Well, I met a producer in L.A. in the Concam when I was writing and songs, and the managers put me up with different publishers, put me up with different people and songwriters. And Rhett Lawrence, that's who it was. He had a Synclavier, but also behind the Synclavier, he had a gold record of Michael Jackson Bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, there you go. There's part of your answer right there.
Okay.
If you're of that level.
I guess so. And, studios, you had to go to studios to get access to a lot of that stuff. I mean, very few people had them in their homes, and now we can do
Right.
anything on a laptop. You don't even need anything in this room except for a laptop.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's
Because you use plugins, and would you say you use Reason? I can't remember what you said.
I'm all desktop. I do. I use a lot of Nexus, Digital Performer, of course.
Oh, Digital Performer, that was it.
Nexus and Contact, and Omnisphere are my main go-tos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
lot of
amazing
things.
how powerful a laptop is now, and everything you need is in there except for a preamp and a mic and whatever else you might plug into. Well, let's play the Pet Shop Boys. This is the 12-inch, so it has kind of a long intro, but I'm sure we'll all enjoy it just the same. Oops, had it at the wrong speed. Listen to that percussion. cut it there since it's a 12-inch.
Yeah.
'Cause
Got
it
the
goes-
main meat.
What a great song.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great job. And you know who recently covered that I just discovered was David Gahan of Depeche Mode did a ballad
Really?
version with kind of a gospel twang to it, piano and gospel singers.
Huh.
So his last solo album, Imposters, had it as the last song. And I was
I
like,
did
what
not
an
know that.
interesting choice.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways, for anybody listening, if you want to check it out, look up David Gahan, always on my mind for a different version. And I had got the vocals for that, and I've been in the process of doing a kind of a ballady remix, and it's I don't like it yet, so it's like I haven't done anything with it. But you know how that is. Is it writer's block, or sometimes you just can't come up with anything?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. When it'll come when it comes.
Yeah,
kind
so
of.
I just let it sit there. It's a pet project. If I'm sitting on an airplane flying somewhere, I'll pull it up and work on it for an hour and put it away.
And then you come back, like, I mean, a few weeks later, or days, or at least the next day, with fresh ears or a fresh perspective after giving your head a shake and literally forgetting about it, not thinking
Yeah.
about it. Then you come back like someone else is listening it for the first time, and suddenly you're like, oh, I know what I do next. Where before you were like totally stuck. It all
Yeah.
of a sudden happens.
Been
Yeah,
there.
it totally works. Like a reboot, right?
Yeah. You know, while I'm thinking about remixes, we should do a remix trade. But Claude from Anything Box just made his original vocal stems from Living in Oblivion available to remix. And so they're
Okay.
out there. And I downloaded them off his Bandcamp page. And I'm going to try to do something different with it. Because, you know, how can you beat the original? So all you can do is do something different with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
have
well, how fun.
two things queued up. We can either play Can Puss in Boots video or play Where the River Runs.
Oh, you know what? Can we do Where the River Runs?
Sure.
Because that is exactly what we were just talking about. I wrote River Runs back in 2013 when I was doing the rockier band 6 Seconds experiment, and I knew it didn't fit in with 6 Seconds, and we ran out of money making that album, and so I put Where the River Runs on the back burner. And then flash back to the past couple of years. I jam with family now and then, which I'm doing this afternoon. And we do the River Runs because it's almost kind of countryish. And I decided that, well, maybe I can Konkanize this. But how would I Konkanize it? so to
Konkanize, I like
speak?
that.
Because I've always felt that I've had the shadow of I beg your pardon. It was such a lightning in a bottle hit. Like I just always felt it just paralyzed me for years of how do I match that, which is impossible. And then it finally just the past few years I said, fuck it. And well, I thought, well, the first thing would be do a drum machine like the 80s. So it can still, it's got a bit of an 80s type vibe. Anyway, that still took me a couple of years till even I've been, oh, this isn't going to work. Forget it. Just take it off the ad album idea. And then eventually I did the same thing, got away for a couple of months, came back, and with fresh ears, I went, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to take this out and take that out and take this out and only use a little bit of this. And like I had too many ideas and too many things going on, and right? Like you're saying, that was like the opposite. I just need to simplify it more. And okay, it's an unusual Konkan song, but that's okay. Everything I do is all over the place. So I thought, yeah, I think I can make this work, and here we are.
And while we're on the topic, your album cover, Barry Harris, Can, and it looks like you have like a Jupiter or something in that picture. I have it on the screen, which you can't see, but it's there. Talk about the new album. I mean, this song, what this album came out, I don't know, I was going to say 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I've been working on it. Like I've been working on the past couple of years actually, and It was only basically it's going working on stuff throughout the winter is the only way you can get through the winter and the dark, cold days of winter. And a lot of the songs I wrote the lyrics while going on walks. I got big into doing walking all over the place, kind of like I don't know if you've seen that's what Nile Rodgers does lately, but a lot of the songs and the ballady stuff, a lot of my medication as well. A lot of them, I just, for some reason, walking, I was just getting really creative again with a lot of ideas, and I'd have my iPhone and I'd just sing ideas and words and lyrics into the camera on the phone, so I wouldn't forget them. And yeah, they all came actually. Almost all the songs came that way, and well, there's the all the single covers, they're AI generated, just like that one is, obviously, because the puzzle pieces, and the painting vibe, I thought was kind of fun and cool and different. And I also prompted it, put me in like a Jupiter in there because it had some color in it.
It looked like a Jupiter 8.
Yeah, because I've been kind of using the plugin of the Jupiter 8
me too.
here and there
Me too.
on it as well, right? And I thought, oh, okay, well that kind of looks pretty. I put an emulator on it, and I thought, oh, that looks pretty dumb and boring. That doesn't work. And I thought, oh yeah, being an AI picture being called with an emulator, I thought, oh, there's an ironic picture, but the Jupiter was much more interesting. But that's basically how the Concan album came about.
Cool.
And
And
anyway, go on.
I was going to say, what is the easiest place for people to find and listen to this, in your opinion? Because I found it in more than one place online. Where do you want people to go to listen to this?
It's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. It's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. You can find it everywhere.
All right, so go to your favorite platform and grab
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, look it up.
Okay, well let's. I think we should do more than one song from it, since we are here to promote it. Here is Where the River Runs.
I'm going down where the river runs. I need to feel how it used to be. Simple summer days, easy living ways, baby blue skies over me. I'm gonna stay, drift away until the stars shine down on me 1,000 times. Souls will keep me company. I'm going down, 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 down. I'm going down, 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 down. When every gravity drags me down and the whole world's weighing on me. When I'm down in the dark with a heavy heart, I gotta find the bright light in me. When every day becomes a war and I forgot what I'm living for. When I become someone I was never meant to be. Yeah, I'm gonna run from this human race. I'm gonna walk at my own pace. Reboot, refresh, upgrade. It's time to move to a better space. But every day becomes a war, and we're not talking anymore. I'll take you to a place where love grows easily. We're going down, 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 down. We're going down, 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 down. Down where the river runs free. There are no guarantees, no lifetime warranties. Life makes no promises at all. One thing I know for sure, your love is the only cure. And this river's my drug that heals it all. 'Cause in this life, there's always changes.
the finger snaps. Nice. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's already there, but I'll put it in a few more times throughout the show. I want you to go check it out. I want to play a song off the actual album. Not this one, right? It's the 5th song on the album.
Yeah.
You want to do an intro for this one?
Well, this song was actually built around my brother sent me the drums. I said to give me something like 146 BPM. That's like Danger Zone or something, kind of like boom, boom. So he did send me those, and I kind of built the song, or starting there, actually, believe it or not. And then I thought to myself, I want something very Gary Newman Cars-ish, very that big giant synthy buzzy synth. And I think I ended up with using it with an ARP, gave me the biggest spacey sound. And as I don't know if it happens to you, but when you just sit down and say, okay, and I need to do some kind of hook, and just instantly I just went do do do, it just can't, and you just do it the first time round is sometimes your best idea, and that was that easy with it. And then the same thing for songwriting. I went for a walk, and one time I came back, and I was just saying, you know what they say, all nice guys finish last. Not this one. And I thought, hey, that's a song. And then, okay, well, there's the payoff line. Now I know what I've got, the chorus, or I've got the payoff line. How do I get there? And
Fill in the rest.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
and then build it from there. You know your destination. I kind of have a start. Now I have to get from here to there. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically
it's-
how that all came together.
Unlike you, I don't write lyrics. So usually in our project, I do the music and send it to Steven. He's in LA, and he comes up with the lyrics, and a lot of times the melodies to go on top of whatever music I send him. Sometimes he mirrors the melodies that I have in the song, and then I have to take them out because they're fighting each other.
Right.
But it starts with a chord progression for me, usually something I've heard or liked or have in my head, and then a melody on top of it, which is usually the chorus. And I hum it. And then after I
Yes.
hum it a few times, I go to piano and play it and put it into the
Right.
sequencer. And that's my process.
Is that your process of
Make-
the melody of the verses, or are you creating hooks?
Just the hooks,
Like-
just the choruses. I rarely
Right.
do verse melodies, but sometimes I will write a little counterpoint or some sort of thing as the verse melody, and he'll sing over the top of it, or it'll inspire him. It varies, but definitely every song starts with a chorus and a chord progression that I like.
Right.
And then I fill in the rest from there. It goes in that order. And in our music project, music always comes first in my book, but yet he's always writing lyrics, but doesn't know what music's going to go with him. And then when he hears the music, he decides what lyrics will go with what music bed. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure other people do it like that too. Who knows?
Well, everyone's got their own way. I go to Bob Mitchell if I'm stuck. If I've got like sinful wishes, I feel good, I feel right, feel like I'm on a legal high, something's wrong. Certainly, this doesn't happen to me easily, and I'm stuck. I don't know where this is going to go, so I feed that to him.
Okay.
And he was like, for some reason I want to say sinful wishes, and I'm like, what? Like, yes.
And then you
there's
work it
something
out.
about that, and yes, and then yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
and he
cool.
gets a little more artsy-fartsy with lyrics and visuals and stuff.
A true collaboration. I mean, one idea.
yeah.
My rule with brainstorming, I work in marketing as a creative director and art director, and my rule with that and in music has always been there are no bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Right.
Yeah. Don't shit on anything that anybody throws out, because sometimes it inspires a new idea after their shitty idea.
Right. Well, or yes. Yeah. Or yeah. I agree. Or something. Yes, evolves from that.
Exactly.
instead.
But you have to get
Yeah.
it out there on the table.
Yeah, right. Just
All right.
and
Well,
yeah.
I'll play you one of our songs after this, so you have an idea of what I'll explain that
Yeah.
process. In the meantime, here is not this one, and it's a fast one.
What about them bullets in my brain? They're just words, but they damage just the same. What about that friend that you betrayed? He's well aware now that for years he got played. But I live my life for me now. Nobody's showing me how. I live my life till my time's done. 'Cause life flies by way too fast. Some people got a sordid past, and they say all nice guys finish last, but not this one. How's about all the battles you have won? Without telling lies and no smoking guns. And how's about all those times that you prevailed? And all the times you lived on your own bed of nails. Well, I live my life for me now. Nobody's showing me how. I'll live my life till my time's done. 'Cause life flies by way too fast. Some people got a sordid past, and they say all nice guys finish last, but not this one.
Those are real drums, is what you're saying?
Well, sequence drums.
I was like, they sound real, all those fills.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I've listened to the whole album a bunch sitting at my desk at the office, and I think I messaged you or told you that the mysterious kind of life, that kind of deconstructed, stripped down version at the end of the album, I really love that because you can really hear the music breathe without all the pieces.
Right, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out and listen to the whole thing. It's very electronically driven, but also has like an acoustic feel. You have guitar in there, and what I thought were real drums, just because they're just done so well. So we'll play more of that new album in the coming weeks because it's sitting here. And on my show, I always play one of my own songs. This is our band Eloquent that I've been doing for 20 years with Steven from LA. And
Cool.
this song is called Handsome Betty. It's my favorite song on the album. And it was inspired by a chord progression I heard from a pop song a couple years back now. And I just liked the progression, the chords. And so what I did was I put that chord progression in, and then we wrote our own melody and hook all around it. And then, unlike where it came from, we added kind of like this musical interlude break that you'll hear about 3/4 of the way through. And we never had vocals in it. We didn't know what to do. And we collaborated with this gal, Catherine from the Dollhouse. And she came on down from Wyoming. They live 2 hours north of here. And I said, what can you do with this? And back to the idea of collaboration. And what she heard from the original lyrics throughout the song and what she just had in her head, she put this whole flashing lights kind of thing into this interlude. And I really just love these different chord progression that's in the interlude. And it breaks down to just pads and strings. And then the song slowly builds back up. And that's what I get a charge out of. It's what I really love.
Cool.
So here it is.
Dancing your way into our hearts, waiting for everyone to say you're feeling free tonight, and you know it, but you don't even know what we see. The flashing lights surrounding us everywhere, watching you smile at everyone. Oh, handsome lady, so pretty to see. Handsome to you and handsome to me. I see you dancing in the spotlight, winking at everyone you see. Feel a boy or girl, you just show it, but you're just giving it for free. The flashing lights surrounding us everywhere, watching you smile at everyone. Oh, handsome lady, so pretty to see. Handsome to you and handsome to me.
You're feeling free tonight, and we know it. So pretty to see, handsome to you, and handsome to me. You just show it, my dancing girl, but you're just giving it to free. A handsome Betty.
Flashing lights surrounding us everywhere, watching you smile at everyone. Oh, handsome lady, so pretty to see. Handsome to you and handsome to me. Handsome to you and handsome to me.
And that is Handsome Betty. Thanks for listening.
Nice.
So we have a few more songs left in our set. Barry, thanks for being here. I'll let you curate from the stuff we've sort of already talked about. Would you rather hear Sparks Beat the Clock or Erasure Blue Savannah?
I'd rather hear Sparks.
Okay. Sparks it is. And what a great band. And they toured extensively over the last year or two.
Oh man, yeah, no, like Sparks stuff. Actually, no, I one of the reasons I picked Sparks is first of all, I discovered them when I was like 14, back in like the 74, 75, and once again, I bought every album I could of theirs. And I also by 76, I was a big Giorgio Moroder fan. So oh yeah, okay. Yeah, because then when they got together, oh, it was like, oh, that was a dream come true. Well, what was a dream come true when David Bowie and Giorgio did as well, even though I wasn't that thrilled with that song. But still, going back to Sparks and being together, Giorgio Moroder, once again, producers again, I would buy anything that had Giorgio's name on it. It didn't matter as I was looking for the credits for that. So Beat the Clock and the other Terminal Jive records that they did, other than the Number One in Heaven. I love every song on that. I saw them. They did the One Hand, Two Hands, One Mouth tour. Did you ever see that? That was around 2013. You know what? It was just the two of them in 2013 because I don't think I hadn't heard of them doing anything in decades, and I thought they're not going out with the band. It's just the two of them on stage, and I thought, they're so quirky. I've always thought that I'm the only person in Ontario in this area that even knows who they are. And I went to this place that was a regular rock venue that held, I don't know, maybe 500 people, 800 people. And I walked in there expecting, there'd probably be like, 80 people or 150. It was packed. I was like, what? And the fact that they kind of did all their songs unplugged, it didn't matter. I was okay. Like, with the fact that their songs are so good and so catchy and quirky, it was fine to hear them perform just on piano and him singing. It was, I still loved it. I was like, oh, I forgot this song. Oh my God, I forgot that song. Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, they pulled it off really, really well. I was not disappointed. And I was surprised. It really made me eye-open that I realized then, especially why people go to different. I never really thought about it before, but when you go to a band like that, and this sounds like a no-brainer, but you realize that you're with all the fans that are coming out of the woodwork from everywhere around that you never knew existed. You're all in this group, and it's this experience of, we all love you, and like, I didn't know this many people. I didn't know you love them. I love them too. And it feels like this like kind of brotherhood unity of people where you're all together, right? And yes, exactly. Found the Sparks tribe that I never possibly knew existed around here, because I'm sure they came around from miles. Well, I did. I had a 2-hour drive or an hour and a half to get there to see it. It was yeah, absolutely. It was great. Loved it. Yeah. Yes.
Mom just couldn't take no more. Had no time to learn to cry. Goodbye, mom, I got to fly. Bye, 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 bye. In school when I was 2, PhD that avenue. Never entered in sports. Didn't look too good in shorts. Got divorced when I was 4. Well, I've seen everything there is. I've done everything there is. I've made everyone worthless. Now I'm even dead over this. No time for relationship. Skip the whole bed every. You gotta beat the clock. You gotta beat the clock. You gotta beat the clock. You gotta beat the clock.
right, Beat the Clock. You know, it was interesting. They just re-released a kind of a best of, and that's one of my favorite songs on there. So nice pick.
Mm.
And with that, we are going to let you go. You picked Giorgio Moroder from Here to Eternity. I'm going to play that as you go and say goodbye. So Barry's going to leave us, but for the next few minutes, I'm just going to play a few more of his songs that he picked. Barry, thanks for being here today. Have a good session wherever you're going today.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Randall. Yeah, it's a fun time.
Good times. And, you know, we never even got to the Thunderpush years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you picked Foo Fighters and some other things. But I think I might
Well
play the Madonna Don't Tell Me Thunderpush mix after
Oh, okay.
Moroder to finish out the show. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
So I'll tell the story about how
Awesome.
you were involved with that. So to let you
Oh,
go.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks again for your time and making this happen. See ya.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks. Ciao for now.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
'cause you said so. Tell the sun not to shine, not to get up this time. No, no, let it fall by the way, but don't leave me where I lay Tell me love isn't true, it's just something that we do. Tell me everything or nothing. Please don't tell me to Tell the leaves not to turn, but don't ever tell me I learned. No, no. Take the black off the crow, but don't tell me I have to go. Tell the bed not to lay like the open mouth of a grave. Yeah, not to stare up at me like a cat down on his knees. Tell me love isn't true, it's just something that we do. Tell me everything or nothing. Don't ever tell me to stop. Tell me love isn't true, it's just something that we do. Tell me everything or nothing. Don't ever tell me to stop. Please don't, please don't, please don't tell me to stop. Don't you ever, don't ever tell me to stop. Don't you ever, don't ever tell me to stop. Don't you ever, don't ever tell me to stop.
That is Madonna. Don't Tell Me, the Thunderpuss remix that Barry did with Chris Cox. We didn't get to talk about it when he was on, but he was involved with remixing for a really long time throughout a really influential area of club play music, including Madonna and a who's who of, is it who's who or who's whom? Anybody and everybody, just some of the greatest dance remixes that you'd hear in the nightclubs of things. And I'll put a list in the chat in a minute of the discography of Thunderpuss, but there's just some really incredible dance mixes in there. And Chris Cox, formerly of Hot Tracks Remix Service, and he's still streaming on Twitch. So look up Chris Cox Official. I think it's just, that's his name there, and he streams that kind of club music in a studio and makes music, and it's great. I'm going to take you out with Beat This by Bomb the Bass. This is something Barry picked out before he had to go to his next appointment, and we'll leave you with that. And then we're going to raid over to Riley.
4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1.